So this video focuses on church slash places of worship. So you could be asked to describe the features of a church or explain why they're important. All right. So the features to focus upon: the altar. So essentially, this is where mass takes place. All right. That's why it's placed at the front of the altar. I'm giving enough information to be able to answer sort of the three parts linked with all the different stuff. So the lectern. The lectern is where the liturgy of the word is from. So it's where the Bible or the gospel is placed and where it's sort of read from. So that's why it's clear and visible for all to see. Next one, okay, or it's decorated in liturgical colours, you could say as well. Also, then you've got the tabernacle. Now, the tabernacle is where the consecrated host, so essentially Jesus' body, is placed if there are any left over. So therefore, it's a bit like a special safe. So you've got it, what's called usually gold plated or decorative or that sort of thing, to show that what's inside of it is important. You've got then the crucifix and the Stations of the Cross. What these do is that they depict sort of the death of Jesus. Why is that important? It reminds us of doing atonement and Jesus' sacrifice, all that sort of stuff. So they're all around the church or whatever, and in very visible places. You've got the baptismal font, reminds us of our baptism and us being welcomed into the church. Therefore, it's placed at the entrance of the church. We'll pass it every time to remind us that we are part of God's family. Next one, the confessional box. This is where reconciliation takes place to allow our sins to sort of be forgiven, okay? So then you've got the two other ones, all right, that they've asked you to sort of know about. Is number one, the Lady Chapel. So essentially this is like another little altar, all right, usually to the side, okay, and like a lot of the time sort of like divided off as well. And sort of what this is that there's is usually one sort of like, as I said, Our Lady, all right, and it reminds us of how we can pray to Mary as well, because she's the intercessor, all right. So usually there'll be a statue of Mary there, or usually like a place to kneel and place to pray to, sort of in the church. Then there are votive candles. So these are like those little candles that you light when you have a special sort of prayer for somebody who's maybe sick or is going through a tough time, or has exams coming up or something, okay, something along those lines. And they're usually at the foot of whether it's Jesus or Mary sometimes, okay, but they have the votive candles. You light the candle when you say your sort of special prayers of, I mean, it could be supplication, it could be whatever, okay. Now, why the church or why a place of worship is important. Now, the main reason why it's important is it's where mass takes place, and obviously that's the main form of Christian worship, all right. Another reason why it's important is that it unites all Catholics. Essentially, they go to a place of worship, they go to the church all together, okay, so it unites them. Another one, the reason why it's important is that it reminds us of some of our core beliefs. So all those things I just said right before, they remind us of the things that are important to Catholics. The altar reminds us of transubstantiation. The crucifix, the Stations of the Cross, reminds us of Jesus' sacrifice and atonement. Okay, so you've got that sort of in a place of worship. The next one is that it sort of brings people together and motivates them, okay, to worship God. Why? Because when you're with other people, you're sort of surrounded by others. It makes you sort of, your faith, if you want, stronger, your intention to go and pray stronger, because you're surrounded by other people doing the same thing. The next one is it allows us to be in Jesus' presence / God's presence. You're in his home, all right, and obviously we can be in Jesus' presence because of transubstantiation. If you want to use the term in the real presence, that would be super duper fantastic, okay. And then you can say about that, another reason why it's important is because community functions take place there, okay. So the reason for this is that the church is obviously at the heart of the community. The type of things that take place there is, so it could be, you could talk about things like marriage and sacraments, but you can also talk about the SVP or the voluntary work that takes place at a place of worship / the church. Alternative about why sort of it isn't important. Well, you can be in God's presence anywhere, okay, you don't have to be in church to do that. You can also say that the sort of idea of that there are other ways to be reminded of our core beliefs, okay. You don't have to go to see all these different sort of images. It could be that, I mean, quite simply in your home you could have those, you could have some of those sort of things like a crucifix that reminds us of Jesus' sacrifice. Or I mean, you can go on the internet and be reminded of them. You can read the Bible, okay, and be reminded of them. Then you can also say that you don't need to go to a place of worship to sort of experience God. So like individual prayer or private prayer, okay, can be done at home, can be done anywhere, all right? So loads of different things you can say, all right? You can also say that you don't have to, when you gather with people, you can gather with your sort of like local community, or more specifically, your family at home. It doesn't need to take place at home, and then you can still feel united with people that you love. So the fact you're praying with other people that you love probably means a little bit more to you, rather than just praying with your church community when there are people there you may not even know. Right, so there's lots of different ideas you can say there. All right, so that sort of summarizes the church / a place of worship.